you should absolutely be leaning into your differentiators because it's going to attract the clients that you want to be working with. And that's going to allow you to set yourself apart from your competition.
Welcome to the Be It Till You See It podcast, where we talk about taking messy action, knowing that perfect is boring. I'm Lesley Logan, Pilates instructor and fitness business coach. I've trained thousands of people around the world, and the number one thing I see stopping people from achieving anything is self-doubt. My friends, action brings clarity, and it's the antidote to fear. Each week, my guests will bring bold, executable, intrinsic, and targeted steps that you can use to put yourself first and be it till you see it. It's a practice, not a perfect. Let's get started.
And stick around to the very end because we got some outtakes. That's been happening.
There's always outtakes, and the team does collect them for bloopers on the YouTube, but we're adding them into the end of the pod because you know what? You need to know that we are not perfect, you're not perfect,
and we're
perfect,
enjoying the process.
And we are enjoying that. So have a good laugh on our behalf. Love you!
Welcome back to the Be It Till You See It interview recap, where my co-host in life, Brad, and I are going to dig into the intuitive convo I had with James Patrick in our last episode. If you haven't yet listened to that interview, feel free to pause us now, go back and listen to that one, and then come back and join us. Can I just say, if you are listening to this through the onlinepilatesclasses.com app, it's actually really easy to like pick the episode before, because they show up as like a playlist.
Yeah, they show up in order. You can just tap on it.
Unlike your other apps that shall not be named because they listen, if you have to like go to the show. You have to click the three dots, go to the show, go to all the episodes, then go, I want to listen to this one. And then it goes, are you sure you want to listen to that one? Because you were listening to this one. And it's like, I just want to listen to the episode. So anyways, shout out to the OPC app. You guys, today is National Foam Rolling Day. Seriously, who knew?
Yeah.
I'm sure all the foam rollers out there did. So rock your foam rolling. Not me.
This week is my sister's getting married on Saturday. So Lesley and I are going to be flying to Philadelphia, and we're going to be looking at, we're going to be helping to set everything up. I don't know if we're part of the mowing the public lawn in the public sphere, but since we're at a city park, they're literally going to bust out a lawnmower before we all get started.
Oh my God, we're going to mow the lawn?
Yeah.
You know, I used to mow the lawn, like I used to trim the hedges around tombstones in the cemetery because your family has to do that. And so I would just trim it around my families, and then I would just like keep going.
Yeah, sure.
Because otherwise it just gets overgrown.
Yeah.
Anyways,
well,
I didn't know that we were going to mow the lawn at her wedding. Interesting.
I don't know if you and I actually are, but that's happening.
I'm sure your family will. Yeah, they do those things. Shout out to Meredith. You hear her in the credits, and we're so excited for boyfriend Kyle to become brother-in-law Kyle.
Yeah, we can call him a fiance. He's allowed to be that.
But no, he's going to be her husband.
Right. He's currently a fiance, though.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
I would love to know from the listeners how many of them felt weird saying fiance.
I felt weird.
It felt so weird. And you did it twice, so like it still felt weird. Sorry.
No. Did I ever even say? I think the first time I hardly said it because it was weird.
Yeah, it's weird. Anyways, but their marriage is not. We're so excited for them.
Yeah, so anyway, big congrats to her and my soon-to-be brother-in-law, I guess our soon-to-be brother-in-law, Kyle.
Yeah. I don't know how that works if I'm already an in-law, but I'm sure it works out just fine. Anyways, I'm sure there's people who like do charts and can tell us what that is.
Yeah, next week.
We are flying to Seoul.
Yeah.
Korea.
How about that?
I know.
I can't wait.
I'm so excited. People are like, you're going to Seoul? I'm so jealous. I'm like, I know. I'm jealous of me too. So we'll be teaching at Pilates on Tour in Seoul. We'll have the flashcards there. And then we're taking a week off in Jeju, which I'm so excited about.
Yeah.
July, we're going to be in the UK and BT dubs. at the time that we're recording this, our UK Mullet Tour workshop is half sold out. So at the time that you're listening to this, there may only be a couple spots left.
Yeah. So if you were thinking about joining us in the UK, I heard it's a quick flight from Ireland. I heard it's a quick flight from Poland, from other places. We got people talking about coming in from Paris. So if that's you, don't sit on this because those weekend passes are selling out and there's only 16 spots.
And we chose Leeds because when we love Claire Sparrow, showed it her episode, but also everybody does London, and it's so important to find and see new places, and we are so excited. So join us there. The link's in the notes. August, it is not our dog, but the actual month of August. We have our summer West Coast tour, so you can actually get on the wait list for this at opc.me/tour.
Yeah.
And then we'll be announcing all that information pretty soon.
We've got a couple of great tour sponsors that we can't wait to brag about.
Yes.
Coming up.
Yes.
September.
Poland.
Oh, yeah. We are coming back to that side of the world. We'll be in Poland. Go to leslielogan.co/Poland. It's what, September 1, 2, and 3, or September 2, 3, and 4?
Yeah. It's
the very beginning of September.
Very beginning of September. I'm actually teaching private sessions there. I've got a couple workshops. We are bringing the flashcards, and I'm not the only one. There's a couple other teachers there, Joel Crosby, Karen Frischman, and then Jay Grimes, our teacher, will be joining virtually.
Yeah.
You guys, this is a really special tour and also a special conference, and it's also small. So absolutely wonderful, and you should be
by
there.
the way, this is kind of a trial for this event, and it would be amazing to sell it out for the host who is doing a lot of work to put it together, so that we could repeat these kinds of events in the future.
Yeah, and let me just side note: if there are things you're like, oh, I want to go, but I'll go next time, just ask yourself how many times you're saying next time, because events like this actually are a lot of time and a lot of money.
There's a lot of excitement and fear because this is a first time host for this kind of event, and there's a lot of risk involved in that kind of a thing.
So much risk on her end. So you guys, and
let's make it worth her while.
I know I say I don't know what the next time will be. I really don't, and I don't know that we can hit the same countries every year. In fact, that's probably not true because we have to go to other countries.
Yep.
And I don't overwork myself anymore. So we do 4 outings a year. There's a lot of countries. I don't know when I can say yes to these ones again. So definitely make them a priority.
Yep.
October, another one you can make a priority is our retreat in Cambodia. Cambodia, that's how they say it. So leslielogan.co/retreat. You guys, this is amazing. We are selling out this retreat, and it's just going to be a freaking blast.
Yeah, I've been chatting with the people who are trying to figure out their plane tickets and what is their whole trip going to be. We have two women who are going to join us who are actually making it a full-blown world tour. We're talking
oh my God,
they're going to go to Japan and then Singapore
I
and
want to
then
go with
Cambodia
them.
and then I think Turkey, and then they're going home. I mean, it is so amazing. They're just going to keep on going, and what an epic trip that's going to be. You can absolutely make Cambodia a stop on your trip and come join us for a retreat when you're doing your world tour. So love that.
Yeah, and then November we got Miami.
Yeah.
We'll give you more information on that later. All right. We're going to get to James in just a second, but first, do we have an audience question?
We sure do. Let's see. This week, Kim Young wrote in. She asked, apart from teaching OPC classes, what does the rest of your exercise routine look like? Do you add it on after you teach? I am a teacher, and I struggle with how much I should exercise in a day and how to fit in all of the rest.
Yeah, so into the rest days. So Kim, thank you so much for asking this. You guys, I love questions like this. I hope this helps you. First of all, I do not demonstrate when I teach my regular client, my in real time stuff. I really try not to demonstrate, just because I want to save my body. And, some days, what if I'm sick? I don't want to have my client to be reliant on me. So those sessions, that time is not any exercise at all. Filming though, I actually try really hard to not use filming as my own personal workout because it's not. As much as what's great about OPC is when I do teach it, I can share what I'm feeling in my body as it's happening, but I cannot be as present in my body because I'm actually being present in the OPC minds. I'm actually seeing the class from their perspective. So it's not a workout for me. So, I have a week each month that I film. And so while those are workouts, they're also not my personal workouts. And I don't tend to work out on top of those, but I just don't go, I worked myself out today. I give myself other ways to connect with myself. So
What do those things include?
Oh, I have my red light with my sauna space red light that I love, and I meditate with that. And I also have this new little gadget that I'll tell you more about that we're working on getting it as a discount link for you that is really helping me do that. I have a PEMF mat that I give myself some recovery time in.
Can you say that again?
PEMF mat.
That's PEMF.
Yes,
PEMF.
from Higher Dose. We actually do have an affiliate link for that. So
Yeah,
we can
we'll
toss
put
it
that
in
in the show notes.
So on my filming weeks, I do those kinds of things for myself just because you do need to have time for you to pour into your own self. And so that's how I do that. Now,
but you also exercise outside of
correct.
Pilates.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So just 1 week of each month is for filming. The rest of the weeks are my own personal things. So here's what I do. I do 15 minutes to an hour of Pilates 5 to 6 days a week. I do weight training 3 to 4 days a week. And that weight training includes, it's kind of like a CrossFit light a couple days a week, like a HIIT training kind of style. And then I do barbell with you. You and I actually do these together. So yeah. So here's the deal though, ladies. I use an app that allows me to know what kind of intensity my workout should be on a given day based on my cycle. And it's really important because I'm not going to skip my weight training class on a day that says I shouldn't be going in very intensely. But what I just do is I go slower. Or I don't use as heavy of weights. Like I use the app to let me know so I don't overwork myself out, because you can build up too much cortisol if you're overdoing all these things. And we as women have to stop treating our fitness based on like what men's workouts are. They have a 24-hour cycle. We have a 28 to 31 day cycle. So using a tool that lets me know based on my hormones how much I should work out, and then as far as rest days go, guys, you can do Pilates on your rest day. It's a low impact exercise. You can do yin yoga on your rest day.
Sure.
You can do intentional walking on your rest day. Rest days don't have to mean like I lay on the couch and do nothing. You should still move intentionally every day. So that's kind of what and I try to work out in the morning mostly, but I'll be really honest, it's not always possible. My strength trains at night. So it's not my favorite, but I like my trainer and I like working with my husband. I like with my dad and my friends there. So that's my workout routine. So I would say 3 to 4 days of strength, 5 to 6 days of Pilates, and I walk twice a day every day.
Yeah.
Love that. Miss anything?
I don't believe so. Sometimes we sprinkle in yoga.
We do.
Occasionally. Not nearly like it used to be, but
I know.
Still happens on occasion.
It. I
really miss it too.
I have an app I'm going to try out. I really love our teacher, but 8 a.m. is not ideal.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough for me. It's tough for me.
Yeah. So anyways, thank you for the question. You guys send your questions in. We love answering them. They're so fun. I'm sure somebody wants an update on Cactus Daddy. So send them into the Beit Pod.
Yeah, because right now everything is blooming.
Oh my gosh.
It is crazy.
Freaking insane. Gorgeous.
Awesome. Okay, now let's talk about James Patrick, a passionate photographer who has not only mastered his craft, but also deeply believes in the power of specialization and embracing imperfection. Beyond his photography, Patrick is widely recognized for his entrepreneurship and unyielding dedication to helping others succeed in the creative field. And he's been doing that by hosting crazy events, and he's got a podcast, and he's got all this stuff.
He's so cool.
Yeah, he's very creative.
I feel like we're not photographers, but I feel like in some ways we all do the same amount of work. I feel like we all have like some plate spinning. He's just so cool.
It was fascinating to listen to him.
Yeah, I met him through a Kareem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because of the Fit Posium, right?
Yes.
I think so. That's his event.
If you are listening to this in real time, I think you could probably still sign up for that. So you should do it. Okay. So what I love, there's a few things I love that he said. I mean, it was just a phenomenal interview. Like I could have kept going. We'll probably have to have him back, but I really loved what we talked about goals and like how we should actually look at our goals and what is a success versus what's not. And so he talked a lot about like the goal is progress. So this is what he said. He said, the more you break things into manageable pieces, the more confident you are that you can get things done. So oftentimes, and we see this all the time with our agency members, the longer they're in agency, the less they do this, which is so cool. Like typically, when someone's an agency, the first couple months, they're like, here's my goals for the month. And there's like literally more things than there are days. And I'm like, you are not going to get a website done in a month. Like you can, it's possible if you have a lot of team, but like just, so breaking things down into manageable pieces. And this made me think of Jillian Floodstrom, who we had on, and she like breaks down her goals into tasks that could be in 2 minutes so that she can actually get them done. Because whenever you have 2 minutes, you could just like look at a task that she has. So, breaking them down. And
that takes so much planning though. And I think that's one thing that I feel like we don't talk about is there's like a prep time where you're simply thinking. You have to spend time thinking but it's when you spend the time to think and prep and plan, then the execution becomes just the do it, bang it out.
Yes. And also like what you have to be careful is that planning is not perfecting. So you're not trying to overdo it. Like there's a balance there. And some things you won't know until you get into doing the thing. But also this is another important part of goals. You have to set goals that you have control over. So if you say, I'm going to have my website done this month, but you're not the one building your website, like you actually don't have control. Like you're like someone else does. Or if you're like, I'm going to get 3 new clients. Well, you actually don't have control of when 3 people decide to give you their money. You have control over the steps that you could take to get clients to even know about you. And so if your goal is to do Pilates every day, that is something you have control over if you also have control over your schedule, or if you have control over like the way you schedule your time. And so it's just really, I really love the way he talked about like creating achievable and realistic goals, but and not setting too many or getting too ambitious, but like just like, okay, I want to do this thing, and then breaking down a manageable task, and then making sure that the goals you have for yourself you have control over. And so it doesn't mean like you don't make a goal because you don't have control. It's like, what part of that goal do you have control over? He wanted to be on covers. He actually cannot decide if he's chosen on a cover, but he can make sure he's pitching himself.
Right. Yeah. And I think that's the, like there was a couple of things where he was talking about this. He said he started making his goals sheet something he revisits more frequently, because he found himself in this like sit down on January 1, write out a year's worth of goals, and then revisit it January 1, 365 days later and be like, oh, I forgot I wrote that down. Did I do this? Did this even happen? As opposed to that, he now has like a living document. He calls it like a living will, but it's like he revisits it, like every month or even every couple of weeks. And he's just reassessing all the time. And I thought that was really cool. And then, like you said, making it like breaking them down when he was like, I want to host an event. And then he's like, oh, I was going to do it next month. I haven't even started. I guess I'll just bail on that. That's a bummer. So looking at, that's why spending the time to break things down allows you to work your way to that goal. So totally, this was really great. And then,
also, he created like a journal.
I was just gonna say he actually.
I want it. I just can't
turn it into a hard copy. So he has a free PDF that you can download to check it out, and then he also turned it into an actual book that you can get on Amazon.
I mean, one thing I know about our listeners is that they love a hard copy.
Yeah, they love a hard copy.
I want to see your pictures of you using this thing. I just think that I like how curious and observant he is in his own practice, so that he could like share this with others. I think it's helpful to know, because I think we could hear someone going 700 covers. Oh my gosh, everything he touches turns to gold. It's like actually
pretty cool.
Like everything he touches is because he did the work. What did you love?
So the thing that I was really digging this because this was super applicable to me. He said, we often are afraid to lean into our differentiators, right? And because think about photography, if you aren't familiar with the field of photography, you just think, oh, they take pictures. But he said, well, what if you take action shots, or what if you do, scenery, or what if you do food, or product photography? Each one of these things are so different in that realm. And he said people have fear that they're actually going to be somehow turning away business if they're not, if they want to go wide instead of going narrow and deep. And he said the reason is because they have this fear that they're going to be missing out on opportunities. But he had this perfectly logical argument. think of it from the client's perspective. We've got an event coming up, and we need to hire a photographer. So are we going to hire the guy who says, hire me, I'm a photographer, or the guy who says, I am the best event photographer that you've ever met. I only shoot events. I'm amazing at it. I've been doing it forever. I've got 800 of them under my belt. Which one, and if they're the same price, which one do you think they're going to hire?
Well, even if the other one's more expensive, I'm still going to hire the one that I know something about.
Right, because they're only going to do the event one time. It's like you can't mess it up. So there's risk there on their part, so they'd be willing to pay for the expert, right? So his argument is you should absolutely be leaning into your differentiators because it's going to attract the clients that you want to be working with, and that's going to allow you to set yourself apart from your competition, right? And so just an interesting way to flip that on your head, right? And that for me was personally, that was really helpful when I did my strengths test, which y'all have heard me talk about 50 times if you've heard me say it once. But once I understood my actual strengths from the Strengths Finders quiz, then I was able to lean into those things and able to confidently say, oh, I can absolutely be the ops person for you because A, B, C, and D. I am this, and I'm great at this thing. And it really allowed me to move forward in my career, and so this is something that I feel when we're coaching our clients, people have the hardest time dialing in their ICA, their ideal client avatar, right? They don't know how to connect with the people that they want to work with, and then modify their marketing language to connect with that person. But this argument is exactly why you need to do it. Right? Yeah. You cannot be, let's just use the one we hear all the time. Whenever we host Agency Mini, inevitably somebody says, oh, I have clients who are 17 and 83, so I guess I'm just going to be, my avatar is females. Right. And it's like, wait a minute.
We actually, I just answered this question for somebody because they were like, I just feel like maybe I'm niched down too much. What about these other people I could help? And I said, well, something that I talk about with the podcast demographics that I say our demographics are women mostly, and a few good men, at the ages between the mid 30s to early 50s, and those who think they are.
That's cool.
And the reason I say that is because we do have a ton of women, shout out to Lori's and Mary's and all this, who are over 55, plus, they act like they're...
Right, they certainly don't act like they're retiring or
totally act like they're in that age range. So that's what I say. But also, when you are very clear and very specific, there are people who aspire to be the person who you're talking to.
Yep.
They still come because they can picture, I don't like country music, but I hear a country music song and I can picture what they're singing, and it makes me think of this thing that I wanted or did or had. And so it's just be specific. It attracts people and it makes you more attractable.
Yeah, and James even had an example, and he said, I am I shoot magazine covers, and however, and he said, I'm not a product photographer. However, I landed a product photography gig because I had a relationship and somebody knows me and trusts me, so I still am getting those clients, even though that's not the person I'm really intentionally trying to land. Mm-hmm. So, same thing. Oh. You will inevitably get clients that aren't your quote unquote perfect market.
Yeah.
And that's how it works.
Also, you can say yes to them. I think this is what's very weird, is that you think, oh, if I only talk to these people, then I can only help these people. No, you can say, I never, ever, ever advertised to athletes, ever. I had mostly athletes. Why did I have them? Because one was a relationship that got me one, that got me the rest. And so I just kept getting them. Doesn't mean that I of course I wanted to teach them, but that wasn't why I got into teaching. And I had a lot of fun teaching them. So I think we sell ourselves short. I also think we're in fear that what if the people that I'm talking to say no to me? Rejection sucks. But also get used to it. You'll be rejected more times than you won't. In this whole lifetime. It's a numbers game.
It's a game. I had a quote I wanted to read to just wrap this up.
Okay.
He just had a couple of amazing one-liners in there. Amazing. James specifically said, not specializing on something is almost a guaranteed way to lose out on opportunities that you are hardwired to be getting.
Oh my gosh. We have to like shout this out to our agency members. Also, this whole conversation, if you're enjoying it, I was on James's podcast and we go deeper into this kind of thing on his podcast. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
I know.
How about that?
I know. I don't, we'll get the link. We'll put it down there.
We'll find that link for y'all.
Yeah.
All right. So finally, let's talk about those beit action items. What bold, executable, intrinsic, or targeted action items can we take away from your convo with James Patrick? He said, he kind of rolled it all into one, but basically not to rely on reactive approaches. And he specifically made an example of reacting to emotions or reacting to the market or business development or launch strategies, reacting. Instead, he suggested being proactive.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
like take charge, be in charge of the situation. Proactivity, he says, is the key to success. Now, it's kind of what we were talking about already in this entire episode. Think about if you are able to plan ahead, to spend time thinking through the project before you begin executing the project, then that's going to set you up to be proactive.
Yeah.
Instead of being reactive. Now, you still may have to be reactive. Life's, right? We like to say. Shit happens. But imagine if you were able to think through things prior to getting it done and then executing that. It will help you achieve your goals.
I mean, okay. For those of you who were part of our journey back in March of this year, we had a very reactive situation, right? Like our servers were crashed and our OPC website, when we brought it back to life, was at 1999 speeds of the internet. And so we actually had to be reactive and that we had to fix the site right away. However, you and the team still sat down, planned it all out, and then made the changes happen in as fast as humanly possible with a website with over 1,000 pages. So
yeah, we're between 750 and 1,000. Yeah, it's a lot.
So it's a lot. So even when you have to be reactive, taking a moment in time, unless someone's fallen off a cliff, then please reach out and grab them. But because none of us are actually in the emergency room having to make a split second decision, take a beat in the reaction and really explore in what you're reacting to, how is this actually in alignment with your goals? Sometimes we react to things because of FOMO, because we see someone else doing something. We think we should be doing it. Even if you are inspired. Well, even if you're inspired by somebody else's thing, let's say your friend is doing Pilates and you're like, I want to do Pilates, and you react to that. That's fine. But then also go to your calendar and break down when you're going to do those things and take a moment and don't just fly by the seat of your pants. I know some people like to do that, and I'm sure it's working not well for you.
That's not true. I mean, things can still go, and we are big fans of taking messy action but the purpose of taking messy action is so that you're not stagnant, right? It's not paralysis, right?
Yeah.
There does come a point where you have to move. But if you can give yourself the time to think through things first, and then when you get in the mix and things aren't going quite as smoothly, take that messy action.
Yeah.
Right? The combination of those two things, that's going to be a win.
Messy action is not reaction.
That's true.
That's true. That's a new thing. We just came up with it. Is my turn?
Yeah.
Okay. So, put something out in the market. Put it out there. It's better to put an imperfect idea than wait for a perfect one. Putting an idea out in the market allows us to receive feedback. You guys, this is so great what he said. Feedback is valuable for refining and improving ideas. It is important to overcome the fear of imperfection, take action, and be willing to make adjustments, and then embrace dynamic natures of projects is what he also said. So here's the deal. This kind of goes back to what we were just saying, but you got to get things out there. If we tried to perfect something, let's just go back to the website. If we we did the freaking best we could, we made sure it was as good as it could be to our eyes in a dev situation. And then you put it out there, and inevitably there is going to be shit that has to be dealt with. You won't know about that until you put it out in the market.
Yeah.
And you need feedback. You need people to say, oh, on my Android, it doesn't do this thing. On this, it doesn't do this thing. It is better to put that stuff out there quicker so you get that feedback faster so that you can actually make those changes. If we waited and noodled around until we thought, okay, we've dotted every I and every T is crossed and everything is perfect. You guys, we put it out there, and in my bio it says thing instead of think. It's okay. It's okay. No one.
Does it really?
Yes.
Oh shit.
I know. I'm like, have we been putting that bio out everywhere with the wrong? Because it's like a copy and paste, right? I'm assuming it's a copy and paste. Anyways,
that's funny.
Yeah. So same with our app. We put it out, right? And it's not perfect. And as you scroll in, like, oh, this is a blank page. It is way better to get feedback because most of the feedback is freaking positive.
Yeah.
Most of it's positive. So this, I was on Forever Fridays podcast again, and I did a what do you call those things? A speedball? A fireball? What do you call those? Like quick questions? Like rapid fire.
Rapid fire.
There we
a
go.
Speedball.
Fireball.
Yeah, okay.
Speedball. So rapid fire.
We need a speedball over here.
So she said, done versus perfect. And I said, like, literally, I will argue with you to the day I die that done is better than perfect. Except for, like, please don't just marry any random person. Like, that might be I'm not saying wait for the perfect person, but, like, don't just marry someone. So that might be the only time that I need, like, a little asterisk, but done is better than perfect.
Let's just put it in the lane of projects.
Projects.
Yeah.
Done is better than perfect. Oh my gosh.
Although I have heard people refer to their spouse as a project, so that's trouble.
Those people like a project. Like if you call your husband that and you're still married to them, then you love a project.
Yeah,
Just
right.
gonna say it. All right. I'm Lesley Logan.
And I'm Brad Crowell.
You know what? We fucking love you.
Yeah.
You're amazing.
This is so fun.
This podcast, can you believe it? What is this, episode 200 and something? 9.
Yeah, 209.
209.
What?
And that was my old area code. 209. And we have FYFs on Fridays, which you guys are loving. And we want to share your wins. So you have to send them to us.
Yeah, make sure you're connecting with us, letting us know.
But also, we're in the top 2% of podcasts because of you.
What?
And I know. And so please keep sharing the pod. My goal that I have no control over.
Right.
So it is. So all I can
Perfect.
all I can do is
add
setup. The FYFs. I added the FYFs. I'm getting a more and more amazing guests, and also I've improved big time. So I'm controlling what I can control, but all the things I'm doing with this podcast are an effort to get to that top 1%. Why? Because that means we're helping more people be it till we see it.
Yeah.
And when you take messy action, you ditch perfection, you are like winning at life, and more people get to enjoy the fruits of how awesome you are. So thank you for being a listener to this podcast. Thank you for sharing it. Make sure you tell us how you're being it till you see it, and have an amazing day.
Bye for now.
That's all I got for this episode of the Be It Till You See It podcast. One thing that would help both myself and future listeners is for you to rate the show and leave a review, and follow or subscribe for free wherever you listen to your podcasts. Also, make sure to introduce yourself over at the Be It Pod on Instagram. I would love to know more about you. Share this episode with whoever you think needs to hear it. Help us and others be it till you see it. Have an awesome day. Be It Till You See It is a production of the Bloom Podcast Network.
It's written, filmed, and recorded by your host, Lesley Logan, and me, Brad Crowell.
It is produced and edited by the epic team at Diseño.
Our theme music is by Ali at Apex Production Music, and our branding by designer and artist Gianfranco Chofi.
Special thanks to Melissa Solomon for creating our visuals and Samena Velazquez for our transcriptions.
Also to Angelina Herrico for adding all the content to our website, and finally to Meredith Crowell for keeping us all on point and on time. Yes, we can go.
There's a lot of buttons over there.
We're good.
We're good.
We're good. Senor Patrick.
Yes, I'm ready.
Me too. Give me a hello one more time.
Hello one more time. Do you know Olivia and Rose?
I actually prefer the instrumental version.
Yeah.
I think because I can't say the words. So I've used it for my reel today.
Oh, cool.
It made me look so graceful, even though I'm not. Be it till you see it. If you're not graceful, pick a graceful song.
You're amazing.